Hey, what's going on guys? In this video we're doing a review of the Moto 360 smartwatch. Now the version that I have is the black version. There's also a gray version available on the market right now. And the Moto 360 is the first smartwatch powered by Android Wear with a circular display. And it looks pretty nice. There's actually going to be another version coming out which has a metal wristband, which is going to cost you an extra $80 in price. And it's not currently available as of this video date, but it'll be available shortly. Now over on the right side of the smartwatch there is actually a physical button which allows you to use it for various functions. Pressing it once will simply turn on the screen, pressing and holding it will actually pop up the settings menu, and while the smartwatch is off, if you press and hold the button it actually turns the device on. To this date right now the Moto 360 is the best looking smartwatch powered by Android Wear. In fact, I even have people asking me, hey, what kind of watch is that on your wrist? Now the device itself, it feels very comfortable and it's very light at 49 grams. It feels like I'm wearing a normal watch. Talking about the screen, what we have here is a 1.56 inch backlit LCD display with a resolution of 320 by 290 and a PPI of 205. The screen itself is protected by Corning Gorilla Glass 3, and as for the quality of the screen, it's nothing fantastic, but for a smartwatch it's pretty good. It's rather clear for a smartwatch. Now on the screen itself you notice a black bar at the bottom, which is a bit of a concern at first, but then honestly after an hour didn't even notice it anymore. It's actually necessary because there's a light sensor inside which allows the smartwatch to adjust to your lighting situation if you turn auto brightness on. If you want to use manual brightness, which I usually set to level 2 or 3, it's extremely bright, and those are the lower settings. This watch can get very bright, so it's great even in sunlight. Now do keep in mind that if you choose to leave the screen on non-stop, it will drain the battery like crazy. I recommend letting the screen just turn off like it does for me in this video right now. Now for those of you that like average size watches or smaller watches, you might find that the Moto 360 is a bit too large for your taste. While for other people who are used to larger watches, you might actually find the Moto 360 very comfortable, but at the end of the day it's all a matter of preference. And yes, the Moto 360 is IP67 certified, which means it's water resistant as well. There is a built-in heart rate sensor, but it's rather slow to find my heart rate, and it might be for other people. The annoying part of the heart rate monitor is that I'll constantly get these notifications telling me that I've done my 30 minutes of daily activity and my progress for the week, when sometimes I'm doing nothing and just sitting at my desk at work and walking around during lunch. But I have no idea what I'm progressing towards, and I can't turn these notifications off. The biggest concern with smartwatches, apart from the price, which is about $250 depending on where you live for the smartwatch, is of course the battery performance. Now this smartwatch is advertised as having 320 milliamps inside, but the people at iFixit have discovered there's actually a 300 milliamp battery. Then there's discrepancies according to a statement that Motorola made afterwards, but I'll discuss that later. In terms of just general performance day to day, I'm averaging about a day and a half before I have to recharge the watch, and this is me checking every single notification I get on my smartphone on my watch first and go to my smartphone second. So for someone who checks all notifications on my smartwatch first, it's pretty good considering it lasts a day and a half. One of the neat things about recharging the Moto 360 is that it does support wireless Qi charging, and of course the dock itself that comes out of the box for recharging is wireless. When you place the Moto 360 on top, it has this neat animation that appears very bright at the beginning, but then kind of dims later on. I assume that Moto wants you to perhaps use the watch as a clock at night while charging your smartwatch at the same time. It looks pretty cool. When it comes to receiving notifications, there's no sound output from this watch at all. Instead, all notifications are sent to the user by vibration, which you can also turn the vibration off. When it comes to internal specs, what you have for storage is 4 gigs. As for RAM, you have 512 megabytes. Then the processor itself is a Texas Instrument OMAP 3 processor, which is about 3 to 4 years old. Now, that was a bit concerned at the beginning, but considering how snappy the Moto 360 has been in my experience, I'm actually not too concerned, especially considering that Android Wear is such a basic, simple operating system. The processor seems to keep up well. There are 3 methods available for the user to turn the screen on. One is to naturally raise your wrist as you would with any watch just to see the time and the screen turns on automatically. Another is to simply press the button on the side to turn the screen on quickly. And of course, because it is a touchscreen, you can just tap the screen and the screen will turn on. To quickly turn the screen off, you just cover it up with your palm. Right out of the box, when it comes to watch faces, there aren't many to choose from in the Moto 360. In fact, it's very limited in how many options are available. But Motorola tries to make up for this by allowing you to download an Android app for your smartphone called Connect, which basically allows you to select your watch face and customize it. Now there aren't many customization options, but it's pretty nice that they allow you to do this in the first place. and kind of makes up for the lack of amount of watch faces available. As mentioned earlier, the Moto 360 is powered by Android Wear, which basically means you can have access to Google Play apps and exclusive Android Wear apps, like this launcher for example. In fact, that launcher is pretty nifty. I'll put a link to it in the video description for anyone else who's interested in it. Of course, it also means you have access to Google Now, which allows you to open the stopwatch by voice commands, set an alarm, or even make a Google search like how tall is Barack Obama. And of course you need an internet connection to use Google Now, but it works pretty well. So initially I was going to give this watch an 8 out of 10, but I'm actually knock it down to 7 out of 10. Because when iFixit saw on the battery of the watch itself that it's listed at 300 milliamps, Motorola released a statement saying that we couldn't actually fit fine print on the battery itself, saying that the battery ranges from 300 to 320 milliamps, which you know is not true. If you have the ability to make a smartwatch like this, you know they have that capability to make fine print that small. I still see that as false advertisement, so that's why I knocked it down by 1 point. Now, when it comes to general battery performance overall, I check all my notifications on the 360 before my smartphone, and I still average about a day and a half usage, which is pretty decent for a smartwatch so far. In terms of the processor performance, Android Wear is very minimalistic, and I know the processor inside is about 3 to 4 years old, but it's very, very smooth. I experienced no lag or stutter at all. Now, when it comes to software problems some people have mentioned on the internet, I have incurred it only once, and that was the initial setup. It took me an hour to connect this watch to my smartphone because it was just buggy out of the box. I had to Google search the problem, I found my solution, and after that, once it connected to my smartphone, the 360 has performed absolutely amazing. I haven't had a single problem since then. So it was connecting to the phone was a problem. After that, I was good to go. In fact, I have a lot of people even asking me what type of watch is on my wrist. People at work, people just, around me, friends. They're like, what is that on your wrist? And I tell them because, they're interested in just what it is because it just looks so stylish. It does look great. It's fantastic. So be sure to check out the Moto 360 if you can get past the false advertisement issue. Overall, it's a pretty solid device. Not the great game changer people are expecting for a smartwatch, the overhype that it had, but it's a pretty good watch nonetheless. And I really do like it. It's my daily smartwatch now. So if you guys want to see a video review of the LG G Watch, an Android Wear demo, or a comparison of the Moto 360 to the LG G Watch, be sure to check out those video links in the video description. And for those of you that found this video useful, be sure to check my Facebook, Google+, Twitter links also in the video description. Hit the like button, it does help, subscribe, and thanks for watching.